This is ANN News Brief.
Good morning. I am Lucy Adeyemi. Malawi's Electoral Commission has begun counting votes following Tuesday's presidential, parliamentary and council elections. The country went to the polls on Tuesday to vote in an election seen as a tough test for President Peter Mutharika, who is running against the deputy president and a former pastor who heads the opposition. So far, many observers say the commission has given a good account of itself, conducting what seem like well-organized polls. There have been no reported major incidents of violence or voting irregularities. The results have been collated at the National Tallying Center in Blantyre. Results have been scanned and sent to the National Tallying Center using specially designed forms that have several security features. Analysts expect a tight presidential race between the incumbent Mutharika and the two opposition candidates. The Sudan Council said on Tuesday talks between ruling Transitional Military Council and an alliance of protesters and opposition groups have failed to produce a breakthrough on the country's political transition for the second day in a row. Street protests and a sitting outside the Defense Ministry compound in Khartoum have not ended even after the army ousted and arrested former President Omar al-Bashir in April. The Military Council and the Declaration of Freedom and Change Forces, an umbrella body of protesters and opposition groups, have agreed on a 3-year transition before elections, but have been deadlocked over whether civilians or the military will control its sovereign council that would hold ultimate power. The Military Council said in a statement that issue has remained the main point of contention during talks that started on Monday and ended on Tuesday without a resolution. Demonstrators are calling for a rapid transition to civilian rule and demanding justice over the death of dozens of people killed in protests. Stay with us. We'll be back after this short break.
Shining our eyes on breaking news, whether in the east or in the west, with Al-Shabaab in Somalia and Boko Haram in Nigeria, with turbulence in the north and agitation in the south. Wherever you live in Nigeria, wherever news happens in Africa, we've got it covered. ANN News, connecting Africans in a truly African spirit.
The World Health Organization Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has urged different political factions in the Democratic Republic of the Congo to unite the battle against Ebola, warning that the risk remains very high of the virus spreading. Nearly 1,200 persons have died since August when the DR Congo declared a 10th outbreak of Ebola in the country in 40 years. Efforts to roll back the outbreak in North Kivu province and neighboring Ituri region have been hampered by fighting in the regions and attacks on medical teams, as well as locals who are suspicious of international efforts at prevention. Ghebreyesus says he had met with the DRC's president and with opposition leaders to urge a bipartisan approach to ending the outbreak. He says, unless that is done, Ebola will become more widespread, more expansive, and more aggressive. He warns that the risk of spread remains very high, describing the outbreak as one of the most complex health emergencies they've ever faced. That's ANN News Brief. Thanks for watching. For details on these and other stories, visit our social media platforms and join the conversation on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I am Lucy Adeyemi.